Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start today's video with a story from a newbie working at Home Depot thrown right into the deep end with their first real Karen encounter. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. My first and hopefully last Karen. To provide a little context, I've been working at a Home Depot now for a little over a week as a full-time closer in the flooring department. I'm 18 years old, and prior to this, I've had no work experience. So far, I haven't had any rude customers, and most people are pretty forgiving when I don't know something since I'm brand new to the job. So now that it's been a little while and I'm getting the hang of things, I think I can take on almost any challenge. And then comes Karen, her husband, and her son. I've literally just started my shift not 5 minutes ago when Karen approaches me and scoffs. Karen, do you work in flooring? Me. Yes, I do. How can I help you today? Karen, I've been here waiting for an hour for one of you people to finally show up. We're looking to take on a flooring project and I need to buy 36 cases of this wood laminate here. She said this in a pretty rude manner while pointing to a particular style of wood displayed in the bay next to me. At this point, I bend down to see how many cases we have in the bay. We had around 14, which meant we had to take a pallet of this specific wood down from up above the aisle. After taking this pallet down, they would have all 36 cases, and we could still put some back in the bay for future customers. Unfortunately, I don't have my reach license. A reach is a forklift used for indoors. It can maneuver very well in tight spaces and reach very high in order to take down pallets. I'm very polite in the following conversation. Me. Unfortunately, I don't have my reach license, but I can find someone who does and will be more than happy to get it down for you. Karen scoffs at this comment and mumbles, whatever. Just for some more background info, in order to take a pallet down, there must be a reach driver and a spotter. The aisle that the pallet is being taken down from must be completely blocked off, and the aisle next to it must also be completely blocked off. As you can tell, this might prove troublesome at a busy time. Regardless, we got the pallet down in around 5 minutes and placed it near the bay in which the other wood laminate pieces were. Finally, Karen and her family could leave us in peace. This was not the case. After we brought down the pallet, Karen insisted that the boxes already in the bay were not good enough and that we would need to repeat the process all over again and take down yet another pallet. At this point, I was a little frustrated. There were more than 36 boxes of exactly what they needed right in front of them, yet Karen still wanted more because the ones left in the bay weren't good enough. Fine, whatever. The customer's always right. I proceeded to spot the reach driver to the other side of the store where the other pallet was. Now, the driver that was helping me out didn't actually work in the flooring department and insisted he had other things to go do. This is where it gets frustrating for me. The replacement driver comes, and you can tell he doesn't have a lot of experience on this machine. He takes literally 15 minutes to lift up the forks, line up the reach, pick up the pallet, and bring it down to the ground. After this, we go back to Karen at a snail's pace. He claimed that he didn't have a lot of experience, so he wanted to be careful. I understood his concern, but along with my current frustrations with Karen, I couldn't stand how much time he was wasting. Anyway, we finally got back to Karen and placed the second brand new pallet of wood next to them. The following conversation pissed me right off. Karen, so how many boxes does each of these pallets have? Me, 28 boxes are on each pallet. Karen, so we need 36 boxes. We need to divide the 36 boxes evenly into 3 different piles because our truck can only take so much weight at a time. We're going to have to make 3 separate trips to home and back. I kind of just stood there for a moment without saying anything. I mean, this was a pretty big request and a lot of work for both myself and the incompetent reach driver beside me. This small pause did not make Karen happy. Karen, you know what? This is too much work. We're going to order this online and get it shipped to our home instead. I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous. We've been here for over an hour. Blah, blah, blah. She then proceeded to turn and leave the store with her husband and kid. Yes, after all the work we did for her, she got up and left. I was beyond mad, but also happy that she had just left my sight. After this, I spent another half hour spotting the new driver as he attempted to put the pallets back into their spots, The whole thing was a huge waste of time, and I felt exhausted after the experience was over. This is the first Karen experience I've had, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen again anytime soon. As far as Karen encounters go, this was pretty mild. Annoying as hell, no doubt, but not nearly as bad as it could have been. And our second story. Get the pendant mom wants? Wish granted. My mom loves Hershey Kisses. They're her absolute favorite candy. So much so, one year mom was immediately in love with a specific pendant Macy's was selling. Think a beautiful half-inch tall white gold Hershey Kiss studded in teeny tiny diamonds. Mom wanted nothing else but that pendant for Christmas. Dad didn't want to buy it. It was pretty expensive. Then he saw in their magazine that they also sold a silver version that looked like it was made using the studded pendant as a mold. To be frank, it was ugly. A small Hershey's Kiss that looked like it had silver eczema. But it was really $200 cheaper than the diamond version. Dad didn't want to go to the store to buy it. He hates crowds, and Christmas shopping was his bane. He gave me, his newly 18-year-old daughter, his credit card and told me to go get the pendant. I knew which one he meant, but I clarified anyway. Me. Oh, the Hershey Kiss one she really wants. Dad. Yes, that one. You know what it looks like. Please buy it with my card for your mom. Me. Roger Dodger. So off I went to the store. When I got to the jewelry case, I saw both versions side by side, and remembering that Dad told me to get the pendant Mom really wanted, immediately chose the better, more expensive one. Got it all prettily wrapped up and came home, gave Dad his card back, and he was none the wiser. Until Christmas morning came. When Mom unwrapped her present, she was nearly in tears. She was so happy. She told Dad she thought he'd get the cheaper one. Dad just kind of quietly muttered, "So did I." He confronted me about it later and asked why that one. I just smiled and said, "You told me to get the one Mom really wanted, so I did." "Are you really going to complain, though? It's much prettier than the other one, and she's very happy that you bought it for her." He just grumbled a bit about it and let it go. A few months later, Dad accidentally let slip to Mom that he wanted to get the cheaper one, but that I duped him by doing exactly what he said and not what he intended. My mom still laughs about it. She says to never give me the card again unless he's very specific about what he wants. She still wears that pendant every day, 12 years later, and laughs at the story every time. I think I made the right call. Edit. We had a super good year financially wise, and Dad had gotten a massive Christmas bonus from his boss for their really good year too. Would I do the same thing now? No. We decided now since adulthood began that if something Mom wanted was too expensive, we'd all chip in together to buy Mom's gift. Last year, we all chipped in $100 each, including my aunt and my husband, to get my mom her first ever KitchenAid stand mixer. My mom doesn't get a lot of presents from my dad. Christmas is pretty much the only time of year he gets her something. Her birthday and their anniversary follow close behind Christmas. And very rarely does my mom ever want something quite so pricey. In the last 12 years, Mom has only wanted one thing more that was so expensive. See stand mixer above. She usually gets something small with sentimental value or appeals to her smaller love of things. Though one year Dad did save up all year long to get a couple's tattoo for the two of them for Christmas. Could he have been furious? Yes, but to be frank, at that point, my dad also has two older daughters about 20 years older than me who were rambunctious in their teens, and since I never did things like going against his express instructions before, and this made Mom's entire year, he could not keep angry at this particular purchase. He had planned on that extra bonus money to go towards Mom anyway. Edit 2. At the time of purchase, the diamond one was like $400 give or take, while the silver one was $275. I have no idea if these are real diamonds or not, or if only a few were real and the rest CZ, but it made Mom happy. That's all that matters. The fact your dad let it slip on what he really wanted you to get for her just made it better, as it now has a funny backstory to it. And our next story. The time I saw a fake $10 bill twice in the same night. I own a small liquor store, as you may know, in the land of Oz, if you get my meaning. And this is a tale of foolhardiness and defeat from many, many years ago. Had a nice young couple come in wanting some champagne. Inward cringe for me, as most champagne is not really that, but is sparkling wine. But nobody understands that. All is well and good. I ID them both, and the young man hands me a $10 bill. I really didn't look hard at anything smaller than a 20 back then, but something felt off about it. So I reach for my counterfeit detection pin and mark it black. I check for the strip in it, none there. Look for the watermark, nope. Otherwise, it looked really good. Yeah, we got a problem here, guys. This bill is fake. YM, really? I just got it at the gas station next door. Me, do you want to take it back to them? Or do you want to call the police? YM, let me take it back, and I'll be right back to get the champagne. So a few minutes go by, they come back, he says they gave him another bill, and they both checked the replacement and the fake one. They got their champagne and left. About 20 minutes later, a guy comes in wanting some vodka. No problem, ring it up, tell him the total, take his money. WTF, it's the same fake $10 bill. My mark is still clearly there. I tell the guy this, and that I had seen the bill before. He gives me a 5 instead and takes the fake 10 to go back to the gas station. At this point, I'm pissed that the gas station tried to pass off a bill they knew was fake to another poor schmuck. So I call the police and explain the situation. About 5 minutes later, cops show up at the gas station. They come visit me about 10 minutes later, and I tell them everything again. I was told the employee at the gas station could be facing some kind of charges for knowingly attempting to pass a counterfeit bill, but I never heard if anything came of it. Gas station employee probably didn't want to own up to accepting the fake in the first place, so he figured he could pass it off on an unsuspecting customer. And our last story. City is saying my vacant house used 75,000 gallons of water in a month. I moved out of my house in July and put it on the market. There's been no one in the home since July 2nd. The city saying that from July 22nd to August 22nd, my meter recorded 74,892 gallons of water usage on my city plot, 50 by 100-foot lot. We checked for a water leak. There is none. We have a sprinkler system, but it only runs for 20 minutes every morning and has a rain sensor. I called the city and said there must be a mistake. They said there wasn't and that they checked on the 19th of August and the meter was sitting at the same place it is currently. They told me I could pay to replace the water meter on a house I no longer own and still eat the cost of the $400 bill. Edit, I went to the city office with my water bill and asked how it could be so off. Doing the math, my whole property would be covered in 3 feet of standing water. There was just no way that much water was used. I was told that the only thing that could possibly cause this is if the meter's bad and needs replaced. If the meter's bad, they'll eat the charges and replace it. But because I no longer own the home, I can't authorize the meter to be replaced, and the new owners are out of state, do not currently live on the property, and won't for some time. I spoke with the city manager this morning. I explained that there was no way I used 75,000 gallons of water. The city manager agreed with me that she couldn't see that amount of water being used either. She read the notes from the last 3 people I spoke with and wasn't pleased as to how I was treated. One of my neighbors checked the security cameras and noticed that the neighbor on the other side was hooking up hoses to my house and filling his pool. Because I no longer own the home, city decided to lower my bill to the same amount the month before, $115-ish, and promised they'd deal with the neighbor thief on their own. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.